I am, but I am this person's... You know who's behind the camera.
Yeah, they know who I am.
The person who runs this channel.
Yeah, they know who I am.
I am that person's sister. Hello. So as many of you might know, the most recent Wiggle CD came out called Duets. Alright, so this is the part where I say my little disclaimer. Everything that I have written is my own opinion. These are just critiques that I have made in comparison to the original songs, and does not change how I feel about the band or their music. But do keep in mind that I feel like some of these tracks shouldn't even be in this review, because some of them are the exact same as some of the more recent. Basically, some of the songs are from more recent albums, so I feel like it doesn't even count. But I'm gonna include them anyway. Alright, I'm gonna get it officially started. So, there are 17 songs in the Duets album. So we are going to start with we're going to start with a song that has become a new Wiggles classic, Do the Propeller, featuring Guy Sebastian. So, when I first listened to this, I've set the bar in the middle when I first started listening to the CD, because I didn't know where it would go. So, this track, I feel like, sounds like a mix of the original track from Taking Off, the orchestra version from Meet the Orchestra, and if it was just a live performance, like in concert. So, overall, it sounded good. It was good. A lot like, it sounded more like the original, but with a tad mix of both the orchestra and like if it was a live performance. I feel like Guy's vocals were a tad bit excessive. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just me. Like, I'm not really sure how to word it. I wrote tad bit excessive on the backup vocals. Just a little bit. There's only so many yeahs I can take. I admit I like this song, but there's only so much I can take. So I am giving this a 3.5 out of 5. I am rating all of these from 1 to 5. The next song is Monkey Man featuring Kylie Minogue. So a few of these songs have been used in the past, and a lot of them reuse the guest artist vocals, which is okay in some instances. So this reuses Kylie's vocals from Go Bananas. I will tell you right now, it's kind of bad. You know how if you listened to Monkey Man from Go Bananas before, you know how this song goes, and you know how there's a monkey voice in the background, right? You know, that doesn't happen here. It doesn't happen here. I know it's Emma's vocals. She didn't even sound like a monkey. What the heck? Didn't even sound like it. And, you know, there's the part with, you know where Kylie has her solo, the one about Banbury Cross with the monkey on the horse, right? Yeah? It's not just her. It's Emma and Lockie singing too. Except for the last part. Except for he's a monkey, really, really big monkey man, that part. I found it disappointing. There was extra instrumentation, which I feel wasn't needed. I feel like if they just used the original music from 2009, I feel like that would have worked. I feel like the instruments were a little bit excessive for this one. So I'm giving this a 2 out of 5. 2 out of 5. I was very disappointed in this one. But then things came on a higher note. was I Love to Have a Dance with Dorothy featuring Slim Dusty. If you remember, that is from Wiggly Wiggly World, if you remember. They reused Slim's vocals, which was totally fine with me. I was very surprised. It wasn't the exact same instrumentation like the regular one, but it was really, really close. This song, I feel like this remake stayed true to the original. The original backup and character tracks were used, which I was very happy about. Not too much was added. The instruments were different, but it sounded almost exactly the same. Nothing extra was added. To me, I think it stayed very true to the original song. And for this, I gave it a 5 out of 5. The next one was the first one I heard before I even decided to do this review, which is one I'm sure you will all agree on if you ever heard it. Crocodile Hunter. Yes. Yeah. Just by saying that, I'm sure at least half of you know how terrible it is. It doesn't have a rock feel at all. Because they reused Steve's vocals, which is totally fine, but I feel like because of that, the music does not match the feel of the song that's supposed to have. It doesn't have that. I feel like this song would be better with the original track. It just doesn't match. It's so opposite. And for these reasons, I'm giving it a 1 out of 5. So, which is not surprising. Now, next track is I Love It When It Rains featuring Marley Matlin, I believe. So overall, it sounded okay. This is an okay song. For those who don't know, Marley's deaf. So I'm not entirely sure why this was necessary if she's deaf, if that makes sense, you know? But overall, the song sounded nice. It sounded nice. There were a few words in the first verse were changed a little bit, but that didn't really change the song. It sounded nice. That's all I'm really gonna give it. But it kind of sounded like a Scottish song a little bit, because I think there were bagpipes in there. Just a little bit. But overall, it was a nice song. It was an okay song. So I'm giving this a 3. 3 out of 5. Next one, I wasn't too sure about, but I changed my mind. The next one is I Got My Glasses On, featuring Katie Noonan. It's basically the same exact thing, except it's in a different key. It goes up a little bit. It's basically the same thing. But I really liked Katie's vocals. I really did. She sings the whole song with them doing backup, with the Wiggles doing backup. It was a really nice song. Katie was nice to listen to. Overall, there's really not much to say since it is the same song. I'm giving this one a 4, since it's very much like the one from Taking Off. It was good. The next one is Feeling Hungry, featuring David Hobson. Again, this is basically the same thing, except they added a drum and a mandolin, which really didn't change anything. It's the same. I would prefer it as is, but it was still good to listen to. I feel like a lot of these songs I'm gonna say are exactly the same, since they're taking things from the more recent CDs and all that. So this is basically the same thing too. There's not much I can really say about it. So for these reasons, I gave it a 3. A 3 out of 5. As with the next 4, they're pretty much all the same. All the same. Have a Good Day, featuring Robbie Rakete, is exactly the same. If you want, just listen to Wiggle House. Listen to it on Wiggle House. It's the same thing. My feelings about the song personally, it's a good song. I really enjoy it. So I give it a 4.5 because I'm a fan of the song. Next one is Do the Preschool featuring Paulini, which I'm assuming is a band. I don't know if it's one person or a band, but it's the same thing. But with added vocals, it's basically the same thing, so I really don't have much to say about it. But I do like their harmonies in the little verse thing. What do you call it? I do like it, so I gave it a 3.5. 3.5 out of 5. It's the same thing. So, yeah, this review is really exciting. The next one is Tabanaba Style featuring Christina New. Again, it's the exact same thing from Wiggletown. Now, in comparison to the one from Wiggly Wiggly World, it still has the same. I feel like this version screams more "Let's go to the reef and have a good time" more than the other one, the first one. But I feel like it says more "Let's go to the reef and have a good time" because it sounds like we're at the beach and all of that. But still, I like both versions. So I'm in the middle. But I personally do like the song, and I do like that they still brought Christine to do this song. So I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. Next is Do the Hawk featuring Lee Hawkins. Again, go listen to Wiggle House. It's the exact same thing. My thoughts on the song. Personally, it's not my favorite. It's not my favorite song, but it's still a good song. But because it's not my exact favorite, there's not much to critique. Because, yeah, there's nothing to compare it to, really. So I'm giving this one a 2.5. Just because it's not my personal favorite, but it's still a good song, but you know. Yeah. Next is Squid, Jigging featuring Tim Chasen. Now this one I was really surprised at. First of all, there's a dedication at the beginning, which I thought was really nice. Overall, this version, in comparison to the one from Let's Eat, this one is a tad bit slower. It sounds nicer, and nothing was over or underdone. I feel like because of the dedication at the beginning, it's supposed to sound this way, which I think works. I feel like this version of the song works. It sounds nicer. I honestly prefer this version than the other one. So for these reasons, I gave this a 5. A 5 out of 5. So I suggest you listen to this version because it sounds super nice. I personally enjoy it. I love it. Next is Itchy Fingers or Jimmy's Sea Shanty featuring Jimmy Barnes. Honestly, I have nothing to compare this song to because, to be honest, this sounds like something that the Wiggles have done live before. It sounds exactly like a live performance. There's nothing to compare it to, and there's bagpipes. I feel like I should mention that. As with a majority of the Wiggles songs now, a lot of them have bagpipes. So yeah. And yeah, again, there's not really much to compare it to since this is, I feel like, used so little, and for these reasons I gave it a 3. It's a 3 out of 5. It's an okay song. It's pretty good. The next song is Waltzing Matilda featuring Troy Cassar-Daley. I'll admit, it was good to hear Troy again. He's been one of my favorite musical guests with the Wiggles. For this song was not what I expected it to be. I mean, don't get me wrong. It sounds good. But it's faster than the other renditions. It sounds more of, I feel like this song, Waltzing Matilda, is supposed to be a little bit more on the sadder side. This one sounds a little more happier? Question mark? So, it sounds nice, but it doesn't really give the same feel as the other renditions of the song. So for these reasons, I'm giving it a 2.5. I'll admit, it sounds good, but it doesn't have the same feel in comparison to the other ones. Next is We Three Kings featuring Anuna. Again, they reused their vocals. There's the overall music, it's the same but different. It has different instruments, but it still like sounds like the one from what's the CD? It's Always Christmas with You. It's different instruments, but still like sounds the same. There's added backup and instrumentation, like I said. There's really not much to say about this. I feel like the backup was tad bit unnecessary. Just a tad bit unnecessary. That's my only critique. I'm giving this a 3. No, 3.5. 3.5 out of 5. Oh, this is the penultimate tune. It's the one before the last. Rock and Roll Preschool featuring Lou Diamond Phillips. Again, the exact same. Listen to Rock and Roll Preschool. There's nothing to change. I feel like the Wiggles kind of cheated a little on this CD because a majority of these are from other CDs. But that's beside the point. The song sounds exactly the same. It's not my favorite song, but it's still an okay song. I gave it a 3. Now we're down to the last song. I had high hopes for this song. Eagle Rock featuring Ross Wilson. They didn't reuse his vocals. They brought him in again, which I'm kind of glad. This does not feel like rock at all. It just feels like a typical Wiggles song now. Like, if you listen to the style of some of the newer songs, they all kind of sound the same. This sounds exactly like that. Why bagpipes? I don't know if that's what I heard in there, but why? Why did they add that? The backup was placed wrong? I don't know if that makes sense. It was placed in the wrong place in the song. Sort of. It sounds too relaxed. It doesn't have the same feel. I wanted this song to be good, because it is one of my favorites. I gave it a 1.5. I wanted this to end on a high note, but it didn't, and I apologize. So overall, this is an okay CD. With the exception of the songs that I really enjoy, that's actually were good. There are a couple of actually good songs on there. There are. But apart from those, it's an okay CD. Would I recommend getting it? Probably not. So, this isn't a must-have, but it's just an okay CD. It is. So, again, everything that I have written is my own opinion. These are just critiques that I have made in comparison to any originals and doesn't change how I feel about the band or their music. Again, I still enjoy the Wiggles. I still do love their music. Whatever they got there, I still really enjoy them. But this was okay. So, with that being said, that wraps up what we're calling the pilot of this little series. I guess this is the end of the pilot of what we're calling, I guess, old versus new. We shall work out a title eventually. So, maybe you'll see me again soon. Okay, so I guess we're ending it here. See you later. Eventually.